Hey everyone, welcome to the I'll Be Living Life podcast. If you like my content, don't forget to support me by hitting the subscribe, notification, and the like button. My special guest today is a realtor by the name of Jimi Brockett. Welcome to the show, Jimmy.
Thanks, Albie. Really appreciate you having me on.
No, I appreciate you joining me. And, you serve the Metro Vancouver area. So I guess today we're going to talk a little bit about the market and what you can share, kind of like your feelings on how the market's going to flow after COVID and all that stuff. And I kind of want to get an idea of how you got into real estate and all that stuff. But yeah, let's start with what do you think about the market right now?
Oh, we're digging straight in, right into the guts of the real estate market. That's a big question you've got
Yeah,
there. So,
you betcha.
it's funny. I deal with people every day, and they ask me about the market, and I give them what I tell everybody. I give them my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. As realtors, that's what we give. We give opinions, and I know where my opinion stands. And then if you want to drive down from what my opinion is, we look at the numbers because the numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
So last year was a crazy, very unpredictable year in real estate. Nobody saw what was going to happen. Nobody saw COVID come along. Nobody saw that real estate would go quiet for 2 months. Not unexpected, but then nobody really predicted May, June, July, August, September and October, and actually November, December, the last 4 months being record years of real estate sales of all time.
Isn't that crazy, eh?
Just didn't, and people like me and a lot of experienced realtors just really just scratching their head saying, okay, let's react to this, and that's all we could do. The reason we had that is obviously we had a buyer's market for about 18 months, and buyer's markets don't come around Vancouver that often. Once in a while, but talking to my old boss, and he said he's probably seen 40 years of real estate. Buyer's markets in Vancouver just don't happen because it's Vancouver. Everybody wants to be in Vancouver, and like most items of sale, it's all about supply and demand.
That's right.
And we don't have enough supply, so it's always high demand. But we did have that buyer's market for a lot of reasons. The government did imply some taxes and did the stress test, and what we saw happen, is we saw everybody just take a step back and say, you know what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit back, watch and wait to see how this all plays out. And that's what actually happened. So we had that for a very long time, an unusually long time. But then nobody really reported it. June, July, August, September of 2019, people started buying. And it wasn't crazy numbers. It was just, nice, steady numbers. You could still negotiate. You could still get great deals. But the people weren't bringing the inventory on because they were still sitting and waiting. But the buyers, they started buying. So inventory started dropping. And those numbers kind of continued through the end of 2019. And what usually happens is January's quiet, February people start ramping up, March we're in the busiest time of the real estate market, the spring market. Always the busiest time for every realtor. We're all getting going, and these numbers are still growing. So the demand is coming back. The inventory is coming back on the market because it's spring. Everybody does something in spring. But then COVID hits. So it was, holy cow, what do we do now? And so very little affects the real estate market in Vancouver. Very little. And it's the same as Tokyo, it's the same as London, Sydney, New York, all these unique places. What we had to do is we went quiet, we stopped doing business while we figured out the mechanics of how to sell real estate safely. So that took about 6 to 8 weeks, and then we figured out the mechanics of selling safely under the current conditions in Vancouver. So we had an 18-month of people sitting back and waiting. Then we had everybody who does business in spring all jump on the bandwagon in May. And then it was basically playing catch up from May through the end of the year. So we had just a crazy real estate year. We expected business to drop in December, but the sales just kept happening. And obviously people don't really bring places on the market in December, so the inventory got lower. So that means supply and demand. Prices go up when supply is low. And then we thought we'd get a bit of a break in January. So what happened in January? I was out showing houses and doing viewings the whole week before New Year. And beginning of January, it has been absolutely crazy. And nobody can really...
explain it. No rhyme or reason to it, right?
Very unusual. What we have found is a couple of things that are unique about the market is condos usually outperform single family houses. Usually, you know, every day of the year. However, because of COVID and that need for space, because people are staying home, we found the downtown core, which is always super strong no matter what, started to go quiet because people wanted to move out of Vancouver Central to get more space, and where they can afford space is further out. So those prices, the prices further out started to go up, and downtown became very flat. So we had these period of a couple of months to 3 months downtown where you couldn't sell a place downtown that easy. It was going below numbers, but then people like myself, people like the amazing Mark Waynes, other really well-known realtors out there started letting people know that Vancouver downtown is a fantastic time to buy right now because the prices are flat. So we were doing that for a month or so, and I think everybody just started listening. So when I was out beginning of January viewing houses with clients, it was gangbusters. It was crazy out there.
That's awesome.
So, you know, what does that mean for this year? I talked to a couple of realtors that are very experienced, and they're thinking along the same lines as I'm thinking. And just my opinion is, I think it's going to be a bananas year. I don't think it's really going to make sense. I think we're going to go back. I think we might break records that we haven't seen before. I think it's already started getting crazy out there. And I'll give you an example. I put a bid in for a client in Kitsilano last week. So this is a $1.6 million or $1.65 million condo, 3-bedroom condo. Yeah, it's amazing, but it's 50 years old and it's in original condition. It needs a $300,000 renovation. Easy. Okay. It went to multiple offers. And that's at the beginning of January. So it's telling me that I think it's just going to go crazy this year. So I think whether you're buying or selling, it's going to be fun. And that's the way I see it. And it doesn't affect anything in my world apart from it makes it more fun.
I'm born and raised here. So I've kind of watched that market go up and down like a yo-yo for a while. And you're right. We're one of those situated cities that I think it's going to always hold its market some way, shape, or form. And we're very appealing. Our weather conditions, or like the climate and everything, it's just amazing here, right? And the sites are just amazing. The food's amazing. You name it. It's just a beautiful place to be. And I think you're right about the whole Vancouver thing with the downtown, because now that companies are transitioning to moving work from home sort of thing, then people are looking at maybe now I need an office, or now I need more of a family-based place, and maybe I need to move to the suburbs. But if you're totally looking to live like a downtown life, that's the perfect time to go downtown. You know what? It's a great time right now. I think the 1-bedroom market is the first market to really go crazy, and that's what I was out shopping for the other week. And I don't think it'll be too long before the 2-bedroom market will really start getting crazy again downtown. And it'll bounce back. It's Vancouver. It's one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and that's not changing, right? So 100%.
Demand is always going to be there.
And we're relatively small still. We are.
We can't. How big can we grow? We've only got so much land. We can't grow with. I think we're 2.2 million in the whole GVRD right now. So
something like that.
So it's funny. Somebody said to me, "Do you think there's going to be a surplus of condos eventually with all these new high rises being built?" And I said, "Well, you got to look at the numbers, right? We have about 35,000 new people coming into Vancouver every year. So take that number, look at one high rise. In a big high rise, you've only got 200 units. So that's only 200 units. So that's only 200 owners. If there's 1% of the 35,000 people coming in, plus everybody that's already living here, you could times that one building by 20. You're still not going to facilitate the demand.
That's right.
So we can't build out. We literally can't build out where we're going to have too many condos. The supply will outgrow the demand, and the prices will steady. We can't. So it's going to be. It's one of those unique places.
So just for my listeners and viewers here, I just want to say that what I really like about Jimmy is he puts on his Instagram like all these tips. I dove into your page and I saw all these like tips at you, like things you need to know about subjects. You're truly a helpful guy, and I love that about you. And you put that all on your Instagram, you put it all on your YouTube. So if you're in the market and you're looking at what you should do, definitely give Jimmy a follow on the Instagram and just listen to him on YouTube. Another thing too for my listeners and viewers, I was talking to Jimmy before this and saying, so let's see what we're going to talk about, or let's just make it flow. So we just made it flow, and he's not too concerned about sending clients your way or whatever. No. You're more about relationships. And I think that's awesome, man. Like, that's really cool. Another thing that I noticed about you got one of that Realtors Care Award recipient.
I did, well noticed.
Yeah, so, that's kind of stuff that you really helped out with, what is that? Cancer research, right? That you helped raise for. And that's another thing. And, that speaks kudos to you, man. And
Thanks,
good for you. And, I commend you on that. Let's go into how you got into real estate. Let's give a story about that.
Oh man, I want to give a big shout out to Ron Sambalon and Sambalon Galleries, because one, they put me in touch with you, but it's because of them that I really figured out my path. And it all started a while back. I lost my son just before he was 6 years old to brain cancer.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. And that threw me into, it threw me completely off axis, but it also threw me into this world of doing something to give back to the community that I lived in. And my way of giving back and doing something for others was by raising money for cancer research.
Awesome.
And doing the Ride to Conquer Cancer, put on by BC Cancer Foundation. And that's how I met Ron.
Yes.
And how that friendship developed. And doing that for years, and still working, but not really connecting with jobs. I think when anybody, not just a parent, but when anybody goes through an ordeal where they lose somebody to cancer, there's a period of time where you just can't really grasp the knowledge, and everything becomes very trivial.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really make sense to do anything, and that's I went through that hard, and nothing really everything seemed pointless.
Yeah.
So I delved back into a few backgrounds of my careers, and I've an IT background, I've done car sales, done a few things, I've owned a bike shop, but I ended up deciding that maybe my whole path is to give back to the community by working for a non-profit and working for the greater good. So I went and worked for BC Cancer Foundation, and it was amazing. It's an amazing organization that does amazing work, but I realized that, as most realtors are, we don't like to have a boss. We like to work for people that care, and I realized that. I actually decided to leave the foundation and go home for a few months and look after my kids. I was a stay-at-home dad, which, kudos to any ladies that are listening, that is definitely and guys, that is by far the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
I did the stay-at-home dad job for 5 months. Yeah. And then I was talking to my good friend down at Simon's Bikes. Shout out to Simon Coots, who's another fellow realtor, and has an amazing bike shop down in Library Square there. And he actually asked me the question, what are you doing? I was like, I actually got no idea. He said, well, have you ever thought about real estate? And I said, well, I don't, I can sell. I love the selling and I love negotiating, but I just don't see anything worthwhile selling. And then when he said real estate, I was like, yeah, because I'm not selling property. I'm selling the idea of home. Mm-hmm. And where home is love.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer selling, I'm helping people achieve that home and that love and that family. Mm-hmm. So I plowed straight into real estate, and over the years, when I first got into it was, I want to help and people get a new home, but there's this great commission check at the end. And it was great. And my focus was really do this to get the commission check, do that to get the commission check. But what I've realized over the years is, especially over probably the past 4 or 5 years, is the commission checks are great, don't get me wrong, and it is a lucrative business, but it's not why I do real estate. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that I get to help people on a daily basis with a big deal, and that, selfishly just makes me feel good.
That's awesome.
And that's what I do. I no longer, and that you can see it reflected in my YouTube and my Instagram. Yep. Yes, I would love your business, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to turn business down. Mm-hmm. However, if I can help you and I've made your day a little bit better, then at least I've served my purpose on this earth.
Yeah.
I've done something good for somebody else.
Yeah.
I've not just taken. I've actually done something to give back.
Yeah.
And that's where my joy lands. I just got a first-time home buyer, a young guy too, get his first place, and he's so freaking happy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, for me, that's the payment for me.
Yeah.
That's giving back and just receiving that knowledge that I made a difference in somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And that's why I do my videos. That's why, if I can give you some tips that can help you somewhere along this real estate world, which is not super complex, but it can be very hard to follow, then I feel it. That's my duty. And it seems to be, I get kudos every day and I love it. I do it for real estate, but I do it selfishly because it makes me feel good and I'm okay with that. If it works, great. And if it doesn't work, that's great too.
You know what? I hear the honesty in your voice, and
thanks, man.
and really big kudos to you. And the funny thing is, when I'm listening to you, I say the same thing about my podcast. It's the exact same thing. I built my Instagram, and I got a lot of followers, and now I feel like I need to pay back. Yeah. And I like to promote talented people, and I like to promote local businesses and bring awareness on issues, and to have great people on my show, such as yourself and such as other talented people, and I just love it. Like this feeds me, right? And same thing. Like I've been through that too. I lost my best friend to cancer, and you're right. And I was in my 20s, and it totally messed me up. This best friend of mine was with me for many, many years, and we were pretty much hanging out 7 days a week. Yeah. And since we were 9 years old, and it hit me hard, and like you said, it messed me up for 2 years, and it's a tough place to be. And I just actually spoke about depression, anxiety, grief, and suicide on this Wednesday's episode. So that's a really powerful episode where I share my dealings with my friend there. So when you said that about your child, it almost hit me too. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. It's a tough thing to deal with. That's for sure.
It really is. And I think, people have asked me over the years how, for some reason they say to me, my friend's mom just lost a son or something along those lines. Can you speak with them? Can you help them? I'm like, you know what? I can't. It's like real estate. All I can give you is my opinion.
Yeah.
The path I follow to get through that situation might not be right for everybody.
Exactly.
It's not one size fits all. You can read all the books you want in the world.
Yeah.
But what I do know is one thing I did and promise I made to myself was get out of bed every freaking day.
Yeah.
Have a shower and contribute back. That's it.
Yeah.
And as long as you do that, eventually it works out.
And just be kind.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like you and I, we're kind of doing this to give back and help and give. I feel a lot of people today is more about the taking. And I noticed that with Instagram too. It's the same thing. Any social media platform for that matter. I just feel that we just need more people like you and some others that I've talked to and spoke to, and how their attitudes and their kindness and everything. You can hear it. And that's something that more people need to be like, for sure.
Yeah, I think we're on the cusp of a transformation of people understanding that giving back is the rent we pay for being on this earth, and that's not my quote. That's Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
he believed it back in the day. Give back that's what we're here to do. We give back to help others. Yeah, that's eventually, if enough people do that. Can you imagine every single person in the world just did a tiny little something?
Yeah.
Imagine the amazing world we'd be in.
Oh, hell yeah.
But there's people like yourself, there's people like Ron Sambalon, there's people like me, and we're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and it feels good doing it.
Yeah, you bet you.
We're not worried about the rest, but imagine once that starts picking up and people get it, and there's a lot of people out there that get it, famous people, the Oprahs, the Gary Vaynerchuks, they all profit. They're not doing anything unusual. They're doing what you and I are doing. So they've been doing it a while. Yeah.
And I love Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, he's awesome.
You know what? He's a super smart guy. Yeah. And I found out about him a long, long time ago. And at first I got it. I understood his method. But then I kind of switched off for a while because, I'm not swearing right now, but you can tell by my accent I'm English.
Yeah.
And swearing is a very normal part of my language.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
part British too, by the way.
Oh, right on, yeah. But I connected with Gary Vee on that. But I found that it was a bit too much, and I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
But then I switched back onto him about a year ago, and I was just, man, that guy blows me away. And he's still saying the same stuff, and it hits home so much that if you just give, his philosophy, jab, 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 right hook.
Yep.
Which, just so you know, I'm a lifelong martial artist.
Yeah.
Nobody would throw a jab, 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 right hook. It would be a jab, 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 right cross.
Yeah.
But that's just a funny thing. But that give, and then maybe ask.
Yeah.
So if we all just did that, we'd make so many more people happy, right?
Yeah, and people will be surprised how much when you give, you actually get back.
100%.
Yeah.
People are afraid, right? And that's where fear comes into it. And most people live in fear, and the fear of not having enough, the fear of not succeeding, everything. Fear is the ruler of a lot of people.
That's right.
When you can learn to let go of the fear and trust that the universe gives what it gets, it's very, very rewarding and comforting and safe. Safe is a good word. It just feels good. It's a hard road to go down, and it's a hard path to follow and understand. And I have no tips whatsoever of how you get there.
Yeah.
I really don't. I just know what I've done through counseling, therapy, coaching, reading, and more reading and self-development has got me down that path, because when my son died and I was still here, it had to be for a reason.
Yeah.
It had to be. The universe doesn't make any mistakes. It works exactly as it should. Mysterious, yes, but it doesn't make any mistakes. So when I was there at, how old was I? 43, going, what the hell now? There's a reason I'm here, and I've got two choices.
Yeah.
Sit down, pull the duvet over my head, and curl up in a ball, or stand up, explore, and figure out why I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I truly believe I'm living my best life by helping others.
Yeah. And Jimmy, I just want to say he'd be proud of you. I'm just saying
thanks,
that.
Man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great talk, man. Kind of led in a different path, but man, I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
you stand for something that I stand for, and good for you. Funny thing is, like, my favorite movie out there is Jerry Maguire. Okay. And it teaches you how to be a friend. It teaches you how to be a human. It teaches you a lot of things and how to build relationships and stuff like that. And there's so many catchphrases that you can get out of that movie. But I absolutely love that movie. And for that reason, because it teaches you how to do relationship, how to treat people, and all that. And I think you speak a lot on that too. So again, kudos to you, my friend.
Thanks. I will take an opportunity here. I'll steal it a little bit.
Yep.
I want to put a shout out to any realtors out there, especially the newbie realtors. I was a newbie once, and I had absolutely no idea what the hell I was doing, what I was meant to be doing, what to do on a daily basis. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, by far from it, but I know what's been working for me. So if there's any realtors out there that are listening to this that just want to have a coffee, shoot the shit. Talk about what's working for me and what's not working, that's not worked in the past. I am so happy to be able to offer that to them. Follow my Instagram, follow my YouTube. There's no commitment. You just get information that might help you do your job and be successful.
100%.
I want to put the call out to say, if anybody wants to reach out, I'm always available. I love getting to know people and helping. I would love to do that. So just a quick shout out to all the realtors out there.
For sure. And please give him a follow. He's under Jimi Brockett Real Estate, and that's JimiBrocketRealestate on Instagram. And his link to little YouTube things that he has going on, it's all there. All the tips are there. And you know what, Jimmy? Just keep being you, man.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And for anybody who does make it to my YouTube channel, there's a few videos on there. Make sure you watch to the end. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, awesome. Okay, again, give him a follow, give Jimmy a follow, and thank you, truly. This was a really fun episode, and it's nice to hear stuff like this. So
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you. I really, really thank you for having me on. And obviously, big shouts out to Ron Sambalon and Sambalon Galleries, because without them, we wouldn't be talking. So I got a big thanks to them.
Yeah, ditto. So anyone out there, if you're giving me a listen, please, for support, if you can hit the subscribe, like, or the notifications button. And that's it. And I'll catch you next week. Thanks.